Okay guys, we're on to episode 5, slowly but surely crawling through the mission making process. This episode we're going to be going over the uniform cases or uniform assigned gear files. So again, same as the last episode where we were in scripts, assigned gear and the assigned gear op4. Alright. Parts we're going to be dealing with is camo pattern, headgear, and I also think the radio selection has a lot to do with this file as well. We'll go through that in a second. But first things first, let's get down to the lines that I said before that actually have the calls to these files, which is uniform classes and weapons classes. So lines 200 and 201. One we're going to be dealing with this afternoon is uniforms AFRF. So if we coincide with that and open up the uniforms folder and go to AFRF, open it up, and this is going to be a little confusing again. Now, if you're using Poseidon, the text editor, like me, you can do a bit of an auto cleanup to what is called folding code. So you get a bit more of an understanding of the tree of scripts and shit. I think this is better explained if I just show you how I do it. So what we're going to do is go to, I think it's view. No, that's not it. Edit. Where is it? Code folding. And we're going to fold level 2. As you would have seen, it's closed up everything with these little arrows, right? And this is how I'm going to show you how this lines up. So in the last episode, we were talking about cases. This is the particular case format that we're using here. So these are the individual cases, as you can see, case. This is going to depict what type of uniform variation we're going to be applying to our soldiers. So if we go back to assign gear OPF, it's obviously calling to that file, but up here at camo pattern, it is calling the variable for VDV EMR WD, which is a Russian woodland camo, okay, for uniform. So if we go back to uniforms AFRF, you can see up here, this is the case, VDV, EMR, wood. Now for this specific mission, we're using CSAT, so Russian gear just isn't going to work. So what I'm going to do is make a copy of this file, paste it, and change it to CSAT. So if I just get out of there, we'll get out of this. Now the uniforms AFRF, we're going to copy it, paste it, change the name, but leave the file association. So we're going to make it CSAT and click off. So now we have a uniforms CSAT SQF. If we open this up, again, I'm going to do all the code folding just to make it more simple. Now I'm going to delete every other case except for one, and that's going to be the one we're going to edit. So if I grab all of this, delete it, all right, and as you'll see, we only have one case, and if we open it, this has all of the variables, arrays, and everything for class names that we're going to be using to make a CSAT uniform type. So I'll just close that again. We're going to change the name of the case. So let's go with, this is going to be a standard CSAT. So STD underscore CSAT. Oh, that's wrong. CSAT, standard CSAT OM, because I'm using my mod. All right, that's going to be our case. So before we go any further, just save it quickly, Control S. The new uniforms SQF is uniforms underscore CSAT.SQF, as you can see at the top there. we need to change that in our assign gear OPF. So again, come down to, sorry, I have to do this every time to clean it up. Come down to line 201, where it says uniforms AFRF, we're going to change it to uniforms CSAT. So instead of a copy and paste, it's quite simple. SCAT. Give it a save. Now we'll go back up to the top at line 17. No, yes, 17, sorry. Which is the camo pattern. Here it's VDV EMR wood, like it was in the previous one. Now it is STD CSAT OM. So what I'm going to do is copy that, paste it there, give it, not launcher, sorry, camo pattern, paste it there, give it a save. Okay, so now it's going to call on everything from that file to do with uniforms to the new one that we've made, okay? Now I did say in the last tutorial, there's sort of what I would call like a sub case for these, which is the helmet arrays or the different types of helmets, because that's sort of how you can do a little bit of extra customization on top when it comes to in-game player like uniforms. For this one, if you come down to switch headgear do, for this particular one, it's at line 43, but it'll be different depending on how many cases you've got in there, all of that sort of stuff. Because we're only using one case in this file, it's not that much of a hassle. But anyway, so at the moment, it's using case 6B7_1M_EMR. We're going to be changing this, I think, to the CSAT one, but for now, you'll see that it coincides with this one here. All right, so just make sure when you do your camo pattern, you go in and you get your case for your headgear as well, or you can even select default and it will give you nothing. Default's sort of like a debug. If something broke, that's what it gives you, is nothing. So anyway, we've got our camo pattern and headgear somewhat sorted. Now we obviously need to change the uniforms, the vests, and backpacks and everything so that it works with the CSAT uniforms. Because at the moment it's just calling on Russian stuff. So if we went in game, press save and played, it would give us the VDV EMR like Digi uniform. But just quickly, just to explain this a bit further, and I'll just close these up just so you can see them. So I'm closing up the headgear section. And as you'll see, we have this top area has everything to do with uniforms for the faction. This section here is everything to do with the different types of vests for the section. So as you can see, you've got rifleman, gunner, which is like MG and stuff. You've got GL, med, pilot, all of that sort of shit. And then the one under that is your rucks, so your backpacks, so your small rucks, medium rucks, your AR and MG rucks, large rucks for like engineers and stuff, your medic, your AT, and your sniper. The one under that is the particular type of class name for the night vision, if you have that turned on. And also your goggles array. I'll go over that a little bit later, because that's a little bit different. It's just more and more customization on top. So first of all, we're going to give this section or this platoon the proper uniforms that will be for CSAT, and I'll show you how to do that. First thing I like to do with this, because we're going to be going in game and taking stuff out of the arsenal, like class names for uniforms. So what I just want to do quickly is just open up a new file, an untitled one, just so it's here for copying stuff over from the clipboard. So let's go in game. Now it doesn't really matter what dude you select or what player or anything like that. As long as you don't save it at the end, you'll be fine. I'm just going to be using the officer as my sort of tool to get class names. So when you click on a unit, right click, you can come down to edit loadout. Now just for simplicity, I'm going to use the BI virtual arsenal, just because it's a bit easier for people to read once you copy to clipboard and paste it out. Ace Arsenal gives you a bit more information, but it's a bit harder to navigate. So Just for your guys' sake, I'm going to use the BI Arsenal, and that should open up. Oh, as you can see, what we did in the description in the last episode's all lined up with the mission name and stuff. But anyway, this is how you get information out of the game, as in class names and stuff, to replace stuff in the framework. So what I'm going to do first is just load up my blank canvas. So you can make one of these yourself. All you have to do is take everything off of the soldier, save it as a name, and then you have a blank canvas version. So yeah, pretty simple. I'm not going to go too far into that. That's pretty common knowledge. Now, I want to get the CSAT OM uniform that I'm using. So what I'm going to do is obviously go into uniform over here in the arsenal, and I think it's right down the bottom. Yep, the M88 EDR CSAT. Click on that, and there's my uniform for the standard rifleman and all of that type of jazz. So what I'm going to do is just go down to export, I'm pretty sure it is. Hit export. It's going to say data copied to clipboard. Going to Alt Tab. Now in the untitled file that we opened before, I'm going to Control V, and that will paste everything we needed. As you can see here, there's a few things that aren't showing up, but we just added a uniform. So if you go to this, force add uniform, this bar here is the class name of the uniform we want to use. So what I'm going to do is grab this, copy it, go back to uniform CSAT, and then you have the rifleman uniform array. This is the basic base uniform for any type of soldier in the game. And what I'm going to do is just double click on that and paste it. Now, if you had variations in the uniform, so let's say we had a standard uniform, we had a uniform with, let's say, knee pads or anything, and you wanted to have that randomness, what you would do is come to the end here, comma, brackets, and paste in a second class name. All right? But because this is pretty straightforward, and they only have one type of uniform, we don't need to do that. But if you did have a faction, like let's say an insurgent faction where they had different types of uniforms, you could just go nuts. You can add as many as you want, and it will apply them randomly in game. So anyway, so this particular class name actually lines up with a lot of other stuff here as well. So what we have here is the crew uniform. They're going to use the same. Leader uniform, they're going to use the same. The rotary pilot, so R pilot, which is helicopter, he uses the same. And the sniper uniform, he uses the same as well. Then we can press save. It's pretty much all done, isn't it? If you wanted to change out the sniper uniform for a ghillie one, you know, you'd go get the class name for a ghillie suit that you like. Same with crew, leader, anything. You can be quite creative, just obviously don't go too stupid. So, like, it's not going to break anything. So anyway, that is the uniform sorted. We'll go back in game. Now I want the helmets for this uniform. So we'll go over to headgear. We'll go to sort by mod, and I'm pretty sure it's down the bottom again. This is where that randomization comes in, but we're going to be doing it with the headgear. So you've got the 6B1M EDR, and also the same version, but with a ESS like goggles on it. So we'll take the first one first. So we'll go export, Alt Tab, go to the untitled, select it all, and just repaste it. And now under force add uniform, you'll see another thing here, add headgear, and there's the OM CSAT 6B7. So if we copy that, come back into here, and we'll open up the headgear slot. Rifleman helmet array. We've got one here. I'm going to replace it, save. Now that's going to be the basic rifleman helmet. Now, as I said before, there's two of them. So we're going to be adding a second. So I'm just going to add another bracket comma. Go back in game. Go back to helmet. we're going to grab the second one, export it, go to Untitled, Control A, and then paste. And there you go. There's the second one. Come back in, paste it in, and there we go. Now we've got some randomization. So when stuff spawns in, it's going to show us 2 different types of helmet for this faction. Now I'll close it up. Now I'm going to show you one more example for this to do with the vests. I'm not going to go any further because literally the same rule applies to everything. So I'm just going to go through and fix this up off screen. Not going to waste your time. But just for the sake of it, let's go Rifleman Vest. Let's open it up. And we'll also get a backpack. You don't have to do this like item by item. You can just, fill it all up and it will show you everything. So we'll go to Vest. Sort by mod. I think the one I had for this was, I was actually using Russian Mountain Les. So here you go. That's a standard vest. We'll grab a backpack while we're here. Let's have a look. What was I using here? I think I was using the field pack. Might have been the khaki one. Yep. All right. Now we're sorted. Export it. Alt tab. Go to the Untitled. Repaste everything. And now you'll see that we have add backpack, add headgear, add vest, force add uniform. It's all about just getting familiar with these like clipboard printouts. You'll slowly and surely get used to it. So the vest we're using is that class. Let's bring it over. Rifleman Vest. There you go. See? Changed. We also grabbed a backpack, which I think will be just the standard small backpack. Paste it in. It's also for sniper, so we can paste, save. Okay, that's like pretty much it. I'm going to go over the goggles array. As I said, if you want randomization, like with the helmets or the uniforms, you can also do that with goggles. Now, goggles doesn't literally mean like glasses on your head. It can be any type of thing from the goggles, like class lamps. I'll show you what they mean. So let's go in game. Now, goggles comes under faceware. So I know that's a bit disjointed, but faceware literally means goggles. So if you come in here, sort by mod, let's say I want these guys to wear, I think I've actually got OM stuff, black balaclavas, okay? We've got 2 different types. We'll just start with this one. I'll export it. Let's go to Untitled, repaste everything. And as you will see, add goggles. See, it's a bit weird. Faceware literally just translates to goggles. So if you grab this, copy it, go back to uniforms. If you leave this empty with just the 2 brackets there, it won't do anything. But if you chuck one in here, let's say, that'll be the balaclava. Let's say we had a second one. So we'll put in the brackets. I'll open up in game. Let's say I want the second one to be, I don't fucking know, veil mask, which is these new weird ones that RHS brought in. So let's export it. Go to Untitled, paste, RHS, SAF, veil, green. So we'll copy that, chuck it in, save. And there you go, you're done. Last thing we're going to do, as I said, with the helmets, because we changed them, and just for the sake of keeping everything clean, we are going to change the helmet type from 6B7 1M, like it is now, to EDR, which is the type of camo I'm using for these OM units. All right. Press save. Now we're going to grab this case because we need to put it into our assigned gear. So I'll copy it, assign gear, and where it has headgear, double click, paste, save. Okay, so that's it for the uniforms files. Hope I gave you enough information so that you can understand it. But the next thing we need to do that is associated with the uniforms folder, at least, is, I'm pretty sure, the radios. So there is a file by itself here, tfar radios. If we open that up, as you can see, using the case system again. So if we go to edit, code folding, fold level 2, close it all up, and then you just have the cases. So the one we want is for CSAT. So we're going to grab this case, copy it, come over to assign gear, and where it has radio selection, RHS rush, put in the CSAT one. And that is essentially it. That's your uniform sorted. As I said again, just examples. I'll go through and tidy this up off screen so that it will all work in game. But that's how you customize, set up uniforms, all of that sort of stuff. Next episode, we're going to be digging really deep, like super deep, down to the elbow deep on weapons. So see you in the next one, guys.